Welcome to Dementia Talk app Behavior Care Plan tutorial. The Behavior Care Plan is a place where you can go to when you are struggling with a specific behavioral symptom that the person with dementia is presenting with. In this section, you will be able to understand what might be the trigger or the reason behind the behavior and develop a plan on how to respond to it when it occurs. To get started, let's go into the Behavior Care Plan section, which is right here on the top right corner. To add a care plan, you have to click on the plus icon on the bottom right area of the screen. Here you see a list of behavior symptoms that are common in dementia. If you're not sure what a certain symptom means, you can click on the question mark icon beside it to read more about it. Now, let's say that I want to explore agitation and irritability because I'm struggling with my grandmother being very agitated and irritable throughout the day. So I'm going to click on agitation and I'm going to scroll down and press next. In this screen, you will be asked to think about 2 questions before proceeding. If you want to read more explanation about these questions, you can just click the arrows beside them to get a bit more detailed information and examples. Now, these are reminders that behaviors are often an expression of a specific need, and it is important to think about what might be happening or what might be different for the person that you are caring for in this point of time. When you are ready, press the button Possible Triggers. So here you can browse through some possible triggers based on literature and develop an hypothesis to why this might be happening for the person that you are caring for. You can choose the triggers you feel apply for the person that you care for by clicking on them. So for example, I can also press the question mark if I want to learn more about what each trigger means and get more information. But let's say that I feel that my grandmother is probably responding to the cognitive changes and her decrease in function, and that she's also probably frustrated from not being able to communicate her needs. And I'm feeling that she might be feeling hopeless, sad, or frustrated. So those are the 3 triggers that I'm looking at this list think are happening for my grandmother. So I check those and then I can press on Things to Try. Here I can browse through some clinically proven strategies that are specific to this behavioral symptom and choose the ones that I want to try or that you want to try by clicking on them. Now, if you notice, there is a question mark besides each trigger, besides each strategy to give you more information. So I can click here and learn a little bit more about this strategy. So I definitely want to try and remain calm. So I'm going to check mark this one and choose this for my care plan. Because when my grandmother gets agitated, I become agitated. So I want to watch out for that. I also want to remind myself to use short, simple sentences because I tend to talk a lot. And I want to also remind myself to avoid questions because that's something that I often do. I also know that comforting touch really works well with my grandmother, so I'm going to check this one as well. Now, if you see when I scroll on the bottom here, I have the option to add a strategy of my own. So here you can basically add your own strategies that you know to be working with the person that you care for and that are not on the list. So I'm going to press on this pencil icon here on the right end, and I'm going to type in. I know, for example, that my grandmother really calms down when I talk to her about her old dog. So I'm going to remind myself to show her when she gets agitated pictures of her old dog. And I'm going to save that to my plan. And you can continue and add as many strategies as you want. Now I'm ready to create my plan, so I'm going to press Create Plan. Now, in this page, you can basically reprioritize the strategies that you chose based on the order that you want to use them or what you want to do first when the behavior occurs. So, for example, I think that I want to start by first using comforting touch with my grandmother because I know that that really helps her calm down right away, and then she's able to receive my messages better. So I'm going to press on this 6-dot icon right beside the Use Comforting Touch strategy, and I'm going to move it while pressing, and I'm going to drag it right up. Now it's at the end of my list, so I know to start now with a comforting touch and remain calm, and then I have my other strategies that I want to use when my grandmother is agitated. And now I'm ready to save my plan. Now, if I go back to the home page, whenever I go into my behavior care plan section, I can go to agitation and irritability and be reminded of the strategy and the order that I wanted to implement them. I can also go to selected triggers and remind myself of the triggers that are causing this behavior. As we explained in our tutorial for My Team options, I can also share that information with other members of the circle of care so they can benefit from what I know to be working with my grandmother. Thank you for using the Dementia Talk app.